I just got off the phone with my friends Naoko, Winter, and Cade gave me a tour of his fort. It was amazing. They had a dark area and a light area, and even had an air-conditioned area. Can you believe it? It's pretty detailed. Which is a perfect thing because today's book is Roxaboxen, and it's all about imagination and forts and play. And when I was little, I used to play Lost Children on the front porch of my house in Chicago. It was hours of fun. We would gather food and we would make cups out of the ivy leaves, and these are stories that I can't wait to tell to Calvin and Rome and Easton and Raylan and Neela and Kaya in person, and Blue and Dominic and Vivian and who else? And Cassis and Nona and Blue. I think I said Blue twice. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I do really hope that very soon I'm going to be able to have a reading circle at a park, and all of you can come and we'll get our blankets and cuddle up, and I'll just be able to read all day in nature with the birds singing and the fresh air under this beautiful sky. Won't that be great? Well, sit back now, wherever you are, find a comfortable place, and let your imagination go wild. Alice McLaren, Roxaboxen, illustrated by Barbara Cooney. This book has been read a lot. See how faded it is, the cover? Thank you, Play Mountain Place Elementary Group, for loaning me this book. Roxaboxen. Alice McLaren, Roxaboxen, illustrated by Barbara Cooney. To May Cargill Doan and all her line. A.M. From my Roxaboxen guide, Tahi, BC. Marion called it Roxaboxen. She always knew the name of everything. There across the road, it looked like any rocky hill. Nothing but sand and rocks, some old wooden boxes, cactus and greasewood, and thorny ocotillo. But it was a special place. The street between Roxaboxen and the houses curved like a river. So Marion named it the River Road. After that, you had to ford a river to reach Roxaboxen. Of course, all of Marion's sisters came. Anna May and Frances and little Jean. Charles from next door, even though he was 12. Oh, and Eleanor, naturally. And Jamie with his brother Paul. Later on there were others, but these were the first. Well, not really the first. Roxaboxen had always been there, and must have belonged to others long before. When Marion dug up a tin box filled with round black pebbles, everyone knew what it was. It was buried treasure. Those pebbles were the money of Roxaboxen. You could still find others like them if you looked hard enough. So some days became treasure hunting days, with everybody trying to find that special kind. And then on other days, you might just find one without even looking. They're all digging around. A town of Roxaboxen began to grow, traced in lines of stone. Main Street first, edged with the whitest ones, and then the houses. Charles made his of the biggest stones. After all, he was the oldest. At first the houses were very plain, but soon they all began to add more rooms. The old wooden boxes could be shelves or tables or anything you wanted. You could find pieces of pottery for dishes. Round pieces were best. How fun. Later on there was a town hall. Marion was mayor, of course. That was just the way she was. Nobody minded. There's Marion. After a while, they added other streets. Frances moved to one of them and built herself a new house outlined in desert glass. Bits of amber, amethyst, and sea green. A house of jewels. Got pretty. says Francis. And that says welcome. And because everybody had plenty of money, there were plenty of shops. Jean helped Anna May in the bakery. Pies and cakes and bread baked warm in the sun. There were 2 ice cream parlors. Was Paul's ice cream the best or Eleanor's? Everybody kept trying them both. In Roxaboxen, you can eat all the ice cream you want. That's his bakery. And that says the finest. This is Roxaboxen's best. Everybody had a car. All you needed was something round for a steering wheel. Of course, if you broke the speed limit, you had to go to jail. The jail had cactus on the floor to make it uncomfortable, and Jamie was the policeman. Anna May, quiet little Anna May, was always speeding. You'd think she liked to go to jail. It says jail. Here's the sheriff with a little star. But if you had a horse, you could go as fast as the wind. There were no speed limits for horses, and you didn't have to stay on the roads. All you needed for a horse was a stick and some kind of bridle, and you could gallop anywhere. How fun. Sometimes there were wars. Once there was a great war, boys against girls. Charles and Marion were the generals. The girls had Fort Irene, and they were all Girl Scouts. The boys made a fort at the other end of Roxaboxen, and they were all bandits. Oh, the raids were fierce, loud with whooping and the stamping of horses. The whirling swords of Ocotillo had sharp thorns, but when you reached your fort, you were safe. Oh my gosh. Yikes. You wouldn't want to get poked with that. Roxaboxen had a cemetery in case anyone died, but the only grave in it was for a dead lizard. Each year when the cactus bloomed, they decorated the grave with flowers. There's a lizard. Book so old it broke. Sometimes in the winter, when everybody was at school and the weather was bad, no one went to Roxaboxen at all. Not for weeks and weeks. But it didn't matter. Roxaboxen was always waiting. Roxaboxen was always there. And spring came, and the Ocotillo blossomed, and everybody sucked the honey from its flowers. And everybody built new rooms, and everybody decided to have jeweled windows. That summer, there were 3 new houses on the east slope, and 2 new shops on Main Street. And so it went. The seasons changed, and the years went by. Roxaboxen was always there. Little hummingbird. I'm going to try that next time I see an Ocotillo. The years went by and the seasons changed until at last the friends had all grown tall, and one by one they moved away to other houses, to other towns. So you think that was the end of Roxaboxen. But oh no, because none of them ever forgot Roxaboxen. Not one of them ever forgot. Years later, Marion's children listened to the stories of that place and fell asleep dreaming dreams of Roxaboxen. Gray-haired Charles picked up a black pebble on the beach and stood holding it, remembering Roxaboxen. More than 50 years later, Frances went back, and Roxaboxen was still there. She could see the white stones bordering Main Street, and there where she had built her house, the desert glass still glowed, amethyst, amber, and sea green. That was beautiful. I'm going to read the rest of this because this is about the story. On a hill on the southeast corner of 2nd Avenue and 8th Street in Yuma, Arizona, there is a place once known as Roxaboxen. The events in this book really did happen to Alice McLaren's mother. With the aid of her mother's childhood manuscript, the memories of relatives, and letters and maps from former inhabitants of Roxaboxen, Alice McLaren was able to create that magical world as if she had played there herself. She presents us with a celebration of the active imagination, of the ability of children to create, even with the most unpromising materials. A world of fantasy so real and multidimensional that it earns a lasting place in memory. Artist Barbara Cooney saw Roxaboxen as one of her toughest assignments yet, constructing a magical world out of something that wasn't there. She made 2 trips to the desert, where she found a small tan hill dotted with stones and rocks, a scattering of desert plants, and now lots of broken glass and an old car chassis. But accompanied by Alice McLaren's 80-year-old Aunt Frances, former Roxaboxenite, the magic and spirit of Roxaboxen began to emerge, a magic found in the minds and hearts of the children who played there. I love that. These look scary. The ocotillo wood, the sticks, because they've got spines on them. Roxaboxen. That was great. What great imagination. And all the kids, when they grew up, they remembered that place because it was magical, because they created magic together. And you can do that too with your imagination and your friends, your brothers and sisters, your cousins. I can't wait till we all can be out and about and go to the parks and go into nature and maybe even your backyard. If you're lucky enough to have one, you can go out there and create your own imaginary world. I love you. So glad you were here. I'll see you next time.